Bryce Laspisa didn't just disappear. He was seen. He spoke to police. His parents spoke to him, and multiple people believed he was in danger, yet he was allowed to keep driving. For nearly 13 hours, Bryce sat alone in his car on the side of a California road. Not sleeping, not calling for help, just sitting. Hours later, his car would be found wrecked at the bottom of a ravine. But Bryce was gone. No blood, no body, no confirmed sightings. And to this day, no one can agree on the most important question. Did Bryce Laspisa want to disappear? Or did something happen after everyone stopped watching? This is the disappearance of Bryce Laspisa, a case that continues to unsettle people not because of what we know, but because of what doesn't make sense. It's a story filled with warning signs, strange decisions, and moments where intervention seemed possible, yet never truly happened. And the deeper you go, the harder it becomes to determine whether this was a tragic mental health crisis, an intentional disappearance, or something far darker. Who was Bryce Laspisa? Bryce Laspisa was a 19-year-old college student originally from Illinois. He was described as intelligent, artistic, and soft-spoken. Someone who maintained a close relationship with his parents and regularly stayed in contact with them. In 2012, Bryce moved to California to attend Sierra College, located near Rocklin. The move was meant to be a fresh start. For a while, it appeared to be just that. Bryce made friends, attended classes, and lived what seemed to be a normal college life. But over time, those closest to him began to notice subtle but troubling changes. Early warning signs. In the months before Bryce disappeared, his behavior reportedly became more erratic. He had been prescribed medication but stopped taking it abruptly. Around the same time, his alcohol consumption increased significantly. Friends later described mood swings and emotional volatility. At least one friend recalled Bryce making concerning statements about his mental state. Perhaps most alarming was the report that Bryce gave away several personal belongings shortly before his disappearance. For many people familiar with crisis warning signs, this detail stands out. But at the time, no one realized just how serious the situation might be. The beginning of the drive. On August 27, 2013, Bryce told his parents he was driving back to their house in Southern California. It was a long trip, but not an unusual one. Bryce had made the drive before, and his parents expected him to check in periodically as he traveled. There is another critical detail that adds context to Bryce's mental state in the days before his disappearance. Before beginning his drive east, Bryce first traveled to his girlfriend's house. Not to visit, but to end the relationship. According to reports, Bryce broke up with her in person shortly before leaving to head south towards his parents' house in Southern California. For many people familiar with crisis behavior, this moment stands out. Ending close relationships, giving away possessions, abruptly abandoning future plans. Together, these actions suggest something far more final than a simple road trip. Bryce did not appear to be planning a return to school. He did not appear to be planning a temporary break. Whatever Bryce was preparing for, it seemed permanent. At that point, there were only two realistic possibilities. Bryce intended to disappear and start over entirely, or Bryce planned to end his own life. Hours passed, then more hours. Something wasn't right. Bryce's location data showed little movement. He wasn't making the progress he should have been. When his parents called, Bryce told them he was tired and needed rest. That explanation might have made sense if it hadn't continued for so long. Stranded but not stranded, Bryce eventually pulled over near Buttonwillow, California. And that's where the situation became deeply unsettling. For nearly 13 hours, Bryce remained parked in the same area. He didn't sleep in a hotel. He didn't continue driving. He didn't turn back. He stayed in his car, alone, growing increasingly distant. Bryce's parents, now deeply alarmed, contacted local law enforcement and asked officers to perform a welfare check. Police arrived and spoke directly with Bryce. They searched his vehicle. They found nothing illegal. No weapons, no drugs. Bryce told officers he was fine and simply tired. With no legal grounds to detain him, police left. But Bryce stayed exactly where he was. The question no one can answer. This moment has become one of the most disturbing aspects of the case. After police cleared him, Bryce did not resume his trip. He remained parked for hours longer. Why? Why didn't he leave once officers departed? Why didn't he seek help? Why didn't he rest? There has never been a clear answer. Final conversations. Eventually, Bryce's parents convinced him to get back on the road. They stayed on the phone with him as he began driving again. For the first time in hours, they felt a sense of relief. They believed Bryce was finally heading home. Bryce drove south, toward Castaic Lake. That decision would mark the last confirmed movements of Bryce Laspisa. The crash at Castaic Lake. The following morning, Bryce's car was discovered at the bottom of a ravine near Castaic Lake. The scene raised immediate questions. The damage to the vehicle suggested the crash was survivable. Investigators noted that Bryce should have been able to exit the car. Inside the vehicle were Bryce's personal belongings, his phone, his wallet, his laptop. There was no blood inside the car, no signs of a violent struggle, and no sign of Bryce. Extensive searches were conducted in the surrounding area. Helicopters, K9 units, ground teams. Nothing was found. Theory 1. Mental health crisis. One of the most widely discussed theories is that Bryce experienced a severe mental health crisis. Supporters of this theory point to the warning signs: abruptly stopping medication, increased alcohol use, giving away possessions, extended isolation. In this scenario, Bryce may have survived the crash and wandered away in a confused or distressed state, eventually succumbing to injury or exposure. However, the lack of physical evidence has left many unconvinced. Despite extensive searches, no trace of Bryce was ever located. Theory 2. Intentional disappearance. Another theory suggests Bryce may have intentionally disappeared. Those who believe this point to the careful placement of his belongings, the lack of blood, and his strange driving patterns. They question whether Bryce intended to start over somewhere else. But this theory raises its own problems. Bryce left behind his identification, money, and communication devices, and no confirmed sightings have ever surfaced. Theory 3. Foul play. A smaller group believes Bryce may have encountered someone after the crash. This theory suggests Bryce survived, met another person, and something went wrong. However, there is no evidence to support this idea. No witnesses, no suspects, no physical proof, only unanswered questions. The detail that still haunts people. Perhaps the most haunting part of the Bryce Laspisa case isn't the disappearance itself. It's the number of times someone could have stepped in. Friends noticed warning signs. His parents sensed danger. Police spoke with him directly. And yet, Bryce was allowed to continue on his own. Whether that was the right decision or not is still debated today. Bryce Laspisa didn't disappear in a remote wilderness. He disappeared while people were watching, while help was nearby, while concern was openly expressed. And that may be why this case continues to haunt so many people, because it forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Sometimes the signs are there, and sometimes, even when we see them, we don't know what to do. If Bryce Laspisa was asking for help without saying the words, did anyone truly hear him? If you have any information about Bryce Laspisa, please contact the Castaic, California Police Department or the Laspisa family. And for more cases like these, please like and subscribe to Twisted Tales. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and let's bring justice to the missing.